Scott Bloomquist, passed away in a plane crash, Reddick is back on top of the NASCAR Cup Series. But what a race it was, messy, full of crashes and drive over 2 days. Some drivers left the track absolutely furious by what they had just witnessed. Let's dive in. When the race resumed on Monday morning, Tyler Reddick was not driving a winning car. He even went P6 to P20. Then he and his team remained patient. They made adjustments here and there and made it to victory lane. Tyler Reddick was quick on Sunday. When activities resumed Monday morning, something didn't seem right. But you have to give respect to the 2311 racing crew for putting together a great race. It required the entire squad and crew to get this victory today. Reddick had to rediscover that speed again, and by the conclusion of the race, it was evident that he was driving the quickest car on the circuit. But he was also caught out by some decision made by NASCAR officials during the race. For instance, Reddick was outraged when NASCAR issued a yellow for Martin Truex Jr., striking the wall in the final laps of the Firekeepers Casino 400 at Michigan International Speedway. At that point in the race, Reddick held a big lead and appeared to be on his way to victory. However, Truex Jr.'s collision with the wall threw a kink in everything, and Reddick had to get ready for overtime. To say Reddick was upset about the yellow flag would be an understatement. "Is this a effing joke? Come on," Reddick said, as interested ears tried to decipher through his radio static. "It's bullshit. He touched the effing wall. Good grief." It's easy to see why Reddick was unhappy, since Truex Jr. appeared to be able to get his car to pit road in good time. While he does have a win in 2024, he has been close countless times before, and other things have prevented him from reaching victory lane on other occasions. But in the end, Tyler Reddick was able to hold off the field for the win, despite another warning. Following his overtime triumph against Michigan, Reddick dedicated it to his late mentor, Scott Bloomquist. Prior to NASCAR, Reddick's career was heavily influenced by the dirt late model legend. Reddick and his family once prepared their cars in Scott Bloomquist's shop. The racing icon's death on Friday in an aircraft accident has left a significant void in the world of motorsports. Definitely an emotional triumph. Reddick paid tribute to his mentor and friend. "I can't help but sit here in victory lane and think of Scott Bloomquist, man," Reddick said on television. "Huge mentor to me and an incredible role model and legend of dirt racing and motorsport. So, the last couple days have been tough and this really helps it. So this win should go for him and his family, his friends, and all that meant a lot to him." After the race, Reddick was quick to find his cool, but he wasn't the only one losing it during the race. His teammate, for example, also had some sketchy moments during the race. And although Bubba Wallace was involved in a collision at the Firekeepers Casino 400 at Michigan International Speedway, he was still ecstatic for his teammate Tyler Reddick, who won. Check out the interaction between Reddick and Wallace, as the two 2311 racing drivers excelled in Michigan, even if Wallace was involved in a collision that wasn't his fault. That's a sweet gesture from Wallace, who wasn't exactly in a good mood following his P26 result on Monday. He is now 1 point shy of the playoff cut line after Ross Chastain. He has 2 races to get back into contention, and his status is awaiting Austin Dillon's appeal, which is scheduled for Wednesday. Regardless, Bubba Wallace will celebrate with Tyler Reddick and prepare for a vital trip to Daytona next weekend. Next up, we got Blaney and Elliott's accident. Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott collided on the last lap of the NASCAR Cup Series race at Michigan, causing them both to be classed further down. For Elliott, the contact might cost him a chance at the regular season crown. Ryan Blaney won Stage 1 on Sunday. He was on track to finish in the top 5 today until he got into a fight with Chase Elliott. Blaney was 6th in overtime, followed by Elliott in 7th. Elliott finished in P15 and Blaney in P18 following this incident on the last lap. Following the race, Ryan Blaney was asked about the contact. Blaney instructed Jeff Gluck to ask the 9. Chase Elliott slipped up the track, gazing back at the replay. He couldn't keep the car in place and went loose. Contact with Blaney's left front cost them both. These two are pals off the track, so I'm sure they'll discuss it and move on as they approach to Daytona and Darlington. Both drivers are focused on completing their tasks ahead of the playoffs. Blaney's goal is to get as many playoff points as possible. Elliott is focused on capturing the regular season crown. He is now 10 points behind Reddick. If he had finished 5th instead of 15th, this would have been a tie race for the regular season. Reddick now holds an edge with 2 races remaining. At this stage of the season, every point counts. Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney are both aware of this. These two strong drivers got into an accident while racing aggressively in overtime. Neither will be thrilled about it, but that is how it is. Blaney, I believe, will get over it, mostly because Elliott is more affected. Blaney is 82 points off the regular season lead. That's simply too much to make up at this juncture in the season. At this moment, just 4 drivers remain in contention. Tyler Reddick now leads the point standings. Chase Elliott follows 10 points behind. Denny Hamlin trails by 28 points. Finally, Kyle Larson, who crashed out of the race, is 32 points down after starting the weekend plus 5 as the leader. Ryan Blaney is in a close race for 5th place overall. William Byron is 4 points behind him, while Christopher Bell is 29 points away. Every additional position in the playoffs helps. A top 5 starting position may save you from a disastrous round of 16. Another thing that happened during the race and could be seen as the moment of the race was the flip from Corey LaJoie. While battling Noah Gragson for a spot in the top 20, Corey LaJoie collided, skidded sideways, and flipped. This is the second flip of the racing weekend. Kyle Sieg crashed in the NASCAR Xfinity Series race on Saturday. We had just been in a massive accident with many cars involved. Now we have a single car accident in which Corey LaJoie flips over. Even with his roof and hood flaps properly deployed, the speed was excessive. The number 7 car flipped near the NBC booth. NASCAR will want to look at this wreck again. LaJoie should not have flipped after this encounter, but he did. The driver was able to lower his window net quickly after coming to a halt. Noah Gragson and Corey LaJoie have been racing each other hard. LaJoie attempted to make a move but was unsuccessful. The sensitive arrow at this track, combined with the tiny touch, made it unlikely that LaJoie would make it out without spinning. However, no one expected the automobile to overturn. Jeff Burton and Steve Letarte were beside themselves. They claimed it was unacceptable for the collision to occur in that manner. They have a point too. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has shared some views on Corey LaJoie's flip during the Firekeepers Casino 400 at Michigan International Speedway. NASCAR has had many flips in the past, but eliminating them is a major safety priority. Nobody likes to witness a car launch into the air and turn over. Thankfully, Corey LaJoie went on a crazy ride and emerged largely unhurt. I'm sure he'll be hurting, but he left the care facility without issue. Dale Earnhardt Jr. heard a lot of debate about flips and how the car is designed, as well as a lot of harsh feedback following the flip, so he put the record straight. Earnhardt agreed with Kenny Wallace that the car's flat underside creates a platform for air to drive the car up and over. He also offered his own remark. For sure, Earnhardt agreed with Wallace. And cars have been flipping in NASCAR since the beginning. It's an unpleasant consequence of going fast, and we should always go fast. So, where's the line? NASCAR will not eliminate flips totally, they simply won't. However, this is LaJoie's second flip this season. This weekend's Xfinity Series race also included a flip. Ultimately, I believe I agree with Dale Earnhardt Jr., as flips are part of the sport. We should be discussing how wonderfully the roof held up and how LaJoie praised NASCAR for providing a safe car. If you can't completely eliminate flips, the next best thing is to minimize the harm they do to drivers. These are terrifying disasters to see, but it's amazing that LaJoie was able to basically laugh about them. What are your thoughts on the race? Did it live up to your expectations? And what about those driver comments? Can you understand them being mad? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below.